We thank you for allowing us to gather, Lord God, through the medium of Zoom, Lord God. And I thank you, oh God, for those, oh God, who are joining now, and even for those that will be joining later, Lord God. I just ask that you would just open up our heart, open up our mind, open up our spirit, that we may receive from you, Lord God, and be able to grow even the more thereby. In Jesus' name, we pray. Let everybody say amen and signify amen by waving at me, because I know some are on mute. So over the past several weeks, all right, we've been dealing with a series entitled, What's the Plan? All right, it's entitled, What's the Plan? And the reason why we have been dealing with that is because for too many of us, we have not made any type of plan, all right? Even making it practical, we have not planned for life. We haven't planned for death. All right, we haven't planned for life after working. All right, we haven't planned for retirement. We haven't, any types of plans. We haven't, some of us haven't even made a plan. Even in that, some of us haven't even made a financial plan. All right, for stuff that we are, attempting to purchase or looking to say, okay, well, I need to pay down this in order to get to that. And sometimes we haven't even done that. We just kind of letting everything roll along and whatever, or however things happen, that's how it happens. And that's to the place where we're shooting from the hip and hoping that, we'll have job security, hoping that the life insurance policy will be long enough or it'll be enough. We're hoping that our retirement plan or our 401k would be enough where if we could be able to live off of it and live off of that and Social Security. And we don't really think, all right, that we need to put other things in place and plan things out. And that's not really the case. The case is we need to make sure we make a plan, all right, and we work the plan that was put in place. Because for too many of us, we don't sit up there and do what is necessary. All right, our counterparts and other people, they do what is necessary as far as making plans and sticking to the plan and all that type of stuff. But for some of us, we don't do that. We don't do that. We don't think about it. We don't realize it. And we definitely don't look at it. So for some of us, we have to sit up there and say, you know what? I got to pick up the pieces is what we dealt with last week. All right. And closed it all out. I got to pick up the pieces because sometimes we don't realize that the pieces that are in front of us, there is use for all of those pieces. All right. There is a purpose to all of those pieces, but we just have to see, all right, where those pieces fit. But we also have to ask God, all right, where to place those pieces. All right, because he puts all of the pieces out there in front of us, just like a jigsaw puzzle. All right, but it's up to us to see the picture before the picture is even seen. All right, and for some of us that have done jigsaw puzzles, we got to realize that sometimes you can't have the picture of it sitting in front of you. All right, sometimes you just got to sit up there and see the picture and be able to put it together. All right, you got to be able to grab something from here, grab something from there, and just say, okay, I see how this fits. I see how that fits. This is how it goes together. All right. And so we got to be able to, all right, see without seeing sometimes. All right. We got to see the plan, but sometimes we got to see the plan without seeing the plan so that we know how to work the plan. All right. And what parts of the plan to work. All right. And like we stated, we got to ask God because God is going to show us, all right, what to do and how to do it and when to do it. All right. He's going to show us who to talk to and who not to talk to. All right. Because like we stated before, there are some people that don't mean us any good. All right. There are some people that don't mean us any good because they want to actually see us torn down. All right. They want to see us not make it. All right. They want to see us fall. They want to see us crumble. All right. And also besides that, you have to think about it. For some people, all right, you got 5 talents like we looked at on last week. They took it and multiplied it and made it 10. And then you had the one that had 2 and made it 4. And then you have some people that just have the 1 and they just hold on to the 1. But you realize, listen, if you take what God has given you and you use it and you work it, all right, then it will actually grow. But if you take it and just hold on to it and don't do anything with it, That's just like what the man did. He'll take that from you and give it to somebody else. He'll take it from you and give it to somebody else because he knows that he can trust them, all right, to make a whole lot out of a little bit. All right. Now, with that much of an introduction, today we're going to be dealing with, all right, for this week and next week, we're going to be coming from and dealing with the subject of what are you doing? All right. That's the subject on tonight. All right. Is part 3, all right, of what's the plan. But we have to ask the question, what are you doing? All right. Or if not ask it another way, are you doing something? All right. Another way to ask it, another way to look at it. Are you doing something, or what are you doing? All right. Because we're coming from Matthew chapter number 25. All right. 2 verses, Matthew chapter number 25, verses 8 and 9. All right. Matthew chapter number 25, verse 8 and 9. And it reads on this wise. And the foolish said unto the wise, give us of your oil, for our lamps are gone out. All right. Give us of your oil, for our lamps have gone out. Now, verse 9 states this, but the wise answered, saying, not so, not so, lest there be not enough for us and you. But go ye rather to them that sell and buy for yourselves. All right, let me read that again. Verse number 9. But the wise answered, saying, not so, lest there be not enough for us and you. But go ye rather to them that sell and buy for yourselves. Now, there's more to the story about it, but we're not going to get into that part just yet because I want to get everybody's mind geared up and get everybody going before I really jump into those verses, okay? Because one of the first questions that we have on tonight, and like I stated over the past couple of weeks and past year, whatever, all right, it may be a simplistic question, but there are deeper applications of the question, all right? If we take the time and dig at the question and really see the question within the question, all right? So the first question we have on tonight is this. What is some reasons why our plan does not work? All right? Let me ask you again, and I'm going to need somebody's to come off of mute and let's deal with this question because we got a couple others that we got to deal with too. The question is, what is some reason or reasons why our plan, our dream, our idea, our vision does not come to pass or does not work? All right? I need somebody to come off of mute and let's deal with this question.
I would say it can be 2 different reasons. I'll just say 2 of them. One of them being you told a dream killer, and the other being depending on your mindset, not come to pass right now because you're not ready for it. So I would say this.
Okay, we heard part of what you said because it was choppy and it sounded like a transformer.
Oh, well, let me transform. I said the first one, I said perhaps you talked over with a dream killer, meaning someone to shoot it down as soon as they get out of your sight. They act like they all down with you and they with it. Oh yeah, you can do it. As soon as they get out of your you think she is? Who you think he is? They can't do. I'm better than them. I can do it better. I can do this. A dream killer. On the flip side, it can be not in the will as of yet. You're not ready for that. So you have to wait because it's not in the will of God for you right now.
Okay. All right.
Transform a little bit for you.
Thank you for transforming. More than meets the eye.
Yes.
All right. Someone else. Add to it. Someone else. Give another reason.
It's Minister Pierce here.
All right now.
I was just thinking A lot of times we continue to do the same old thing, expecting different results. You know, God says that everything goes higher and higher. We can't continue to do the same thing all the time, expecting a different result. We have to truly change the ways that we've been doing things that never worked before. You know, for example, we have to ask God, you know, what is his will? We have to change our ways. A lot of times we think that, oh, well, you know, I'm in the cuss, you know, I'm in the cut with God, you know, I love the Lord and he will help me, blah, blah. But at the same time, you have to show God that you're doing what he's telling you to do in this day and age. Things has changed. And we have to really, you know, stop doing the same old things that we used to do. And it never worked. Thinking that it's going to work if I tweet it this way or tweet it that way. No, we have to hear from God himself. Things nowadays has changed so drastically that we don't know what the heck is going on. So we really need to be we really need to look at what we've done in the past and the things that didn't work in the past, and to ask God, how do we maneuver from here? He has all the answers.
Okay. All right. So sometimes the plan doesn't work because we have to change how we've been working it. All right.
I want to say too that I hear Minister Pierce saying we can't do the same thing all the time. That's a retarded person. Keep going. You want different results, don't keep doing the same thing, because then you're retarded. But also, you have no faith in yourself. You don't believe in yourself. It's the inner me that, you know what I'm saying? You hear, it can even come from God, and you know it came from God because of the fear that you have of failing. And so it's that inner me, like saying, I can't do it. It seems so far-fetched that I don't know if I can, you know, go forth and do it. So sometimes it's mostly us that keep us down. Yes, it are the naysayers and those dream killers, but sometimes it's us. Sometimes we want to blame the devil, but it's not always the devil. It's not always people. It's us. We have to come and ask God to kill the demon, the enemy inside of us, so we can think more better and we can go further. So that's why some of our plans that God has told us to do, and we haven't went no further than where we are, because we're afraid. We're afraid to fail. We're afraid to disappoint people. So we stay where we are. We don't succeed. So that's one reason too.
Okay. All right. Before somebody else come off of mute, Sister Shirley Muse, she said, we don't stick to it. Got to keep going. Brother Isham, he put, there could be many reasons. One possible that the plan was not thought out well enough. Deaconess Miller, she put, have you prayed to God and asked him about the situation and then listen for his answer on what we are to do? All right. Sister Doris, she put, we do not look at the whole picture. All right. Plans not really thought through. All right. Sister Sharon Peters put, the plan should always have a plan. All right. So someone else want to come off of mute and deal with this question of why is what are some of the reasons, all right, why our vision, our dream, our plan does not come to pass or does not work? All right, somebody else want to say something or add something?
Maybe because we haven't written it out, or maybe we're trying to skip steps. Sometimes we have a plan and we don't want to start from the bottom. We want to get right to the top. So we don't do our research. We don't pray. We don't ask God to show us how to get there. We just want to get there and miss all those important building blocks so that our vision can come through with a plan. And like I heard, We don't stick with it. We start it, we stop it. Sometimes we get discouraged if it doesn't happen on our time. And I heard someone say that too, when it's God's time, we rush it. And sometimes with our plan, we may have a thought, but may not know how to execute it. So then it becomes a disaster, because if you don't plan to succeed, you plan to fail. So you have to plan it all out. We'll start something, but never go through the whole planning system, the whole planning of it. And so we become discouraged in the middle of it. And so we will stop instead of just picking back up and trying to figure out the steps. And also, we don't want to ask someone who's already in it to help us, help us get to where we got to go. Sometimes we want our plan to ourselves. We're afraid to share our vision because we think someone's going to take it. So we keep it to ourselves instead of partnering with someone who knows how to get there, who can help us get to where we got to go.
All right. Someone else?
Yes, I would say it's like we have two parts. One of the part is planning each particular piece out step by step. Sometimes we see the final place where we want to be, but we are not willing to go through the process to get there and actually plan everything out. And the other piece I would say is realistic expectations and realistic goal. And I'll give you an example. Me and my brother wanted to start a business. With that business, we wanted to be able to take care of our moms and build our mom's house from the ground up. My brother was slotted to be an electrician, and I was slotted to go in to be an electrical engineer. Education-wise, of electrical engineer, you need to learn physics, you need to learn calculus. I don't like calculus. I failed pre-cal in high school. So what makes me think that I was going to go to college and I was going to get through 3 levels of calculus and through physics, which teaches mathematics without teaching you mathematics. I didn't educate myself in what it requires for engineering. My brother didn't like education at that particular time, and he was cutting school, and he wasn't die hard trying to become an electrician at that particular moment. We had plans because my father was a painter by birth, but he never got educated to be a painter. So we wanted to have his painting business underneath our company, so he didn't have to work for anybody, but yet he will be able to make enough money to take care of himself. But we had no plan. We didn't educate everything out properly. We didn't educate ourselves. I was unrealistic of being an engineer and not knowing what it requires to become an engineer. I just saw that engineers can make 100,000, 200,000, 300,000. They can be their own bosses. They can be private contractors with people underneath them. I just saw the money, but never saw the education that it requires to get to that money. I just saw an avenue to take care of my family, but didn't know how that I was going to ever get there. See, a lot of times we look at the outcome of the plan, but we never look at how the plan started, how the plan begun, how the plan is here now. So we don't educate ourselves. One, even if we have a gift from birth, we don't educate ourselves how to work that gift in society that will give us the go ahead to perform our gift. We just say, well, I was gifted and talented, so I'm just going to do it. No, society says that you have a certain way that you got to do it, because if you don't do it this way, we're not paying you. If you don't do it this way, we're not giving you the loans to open up a business, because we don't know that you know what you're doing. You don't have anything to hold this loan. You don't have a house to put down on it. You don't have a car. You don't have nothing. You just want us to give you $100,000 to start a business, and you don't got nothing to hold on to it. We do no education, but we want the most. That's it.
And I was trying to think credit or backing. That's what I was thinking of. You don't have any credit. You don't have any backing. Another piece that you could look at it. You don't have any partners or investors. All right. You need those things, because if we think about it and we take it and we look at it in sports, yes, you could have, you could be a billionaire and you could have the money to purchase a NBA team or NFL team, but sometimes you got to have the credentials, all right, along with the money. All right. But besides that, the governing board has to approve whether or not they will allow you to buy that team. So you can have all the pieces and stuff like that in place, But if they don't approve of it, you're not going to be able to do it. You're not going to be able to do it, because that's why, side note, still dealing with purchasing, that's why years ago, they did not allow Comb Over, all right, to purchase the Buffalo Bill. They wasn't allowing him to do it. You know, even though at that particular point in time, he may have had the money, but the governing board, the governing body, all right, of directors, of owners was like, nah, we're not going to allow this one. You know, so like we stated, even though you have a plan, you got to think the whole plan through. All right, you got to look at it. All right, and you got to, as we would say, you got to count up the cost. You got to look at the reality of it, whether or not it's actually, you know, okay, is it a, let me see, is it a pipe dream, or is it something that is just out of our reach, but it is attainable? All right, because there is a difference between the two. Because a pipe dream is something that is, no matter what you do, you will not attain it. But something that's just out of our reach is just enough to increase our faith and our trust in God, that if we work it, it will work. All right. Does anyone else have anything else to add or say before we go on to the next question? All right. So let me even ask us this. And it's funny that this question then came up and we right around the holidays. Is every sale a sale that we are supposed to take advantage of? You should see your face, Smith. Is every sale a sale that we should take advantage of? I know it may seem a little cavalier or a little whatchamacallit, but somebody come off of mute. All right. Is every sale a sale that we are supposed to take advantage of? Now you
I
gotta
would
think
say,
about
I
it.
would say, I mean, I want to say yes, but I know no is the answer. No, every sale is not, we're not supposed to take advantage of every sale.
Why? But why would you want to say yes, though?
Because I like to shop, and I like to shop on the clearance rack. And yes, I want to buy, like my husband say, I say, can I have $50 to buy one shirt, but I go on the clearance rack and get 5. So, you know.
All right. Now, okay. I want somebody else. All right, go ahead. I see the finger.
So the reason why I would say no is, if it's for us, no. If it's to bless other people, then yes, because we're sending it out. So why do I say no when we're talking about ourselves? Look at your house. Look at the space that's in your house. If you took advantage of every sale that you would ever come across, you would be a hoarder. You will not have enough space to put everything in. And when you take stuff in, you got to let stuff go out, because if you want to have everything in its proper place and you don't want to have stuff overflowing in your house, you can't fit something in when it doesn't fit. So it means you have to clean something out before you can actually put something else in. So even though you want to take advantage of the sale, if you haven't prepped yourself to take advantage, then this sale is going to pass you by. Or it should pass you by.
There you go. It should pass you by. Because the thing that I continue to talk about and use is, I understand, all right, when some of us grew up, all right, when we were younger and we did not have, all right, for example, y'all know I always use toilet paper, paper towels, and things like that, but it's crazy when you have 3 people or 2 people living in the house and you got 100 rolls of toilet paper and you keep going and buying more. All right. You not only have it stored in a storage room, but you also have it stored in the laundry room, but then you have some of it stored in your trunk. All right. You have some of it stored in your closet, and then, what makes it bad is some will say, well, if it's out there in front of everybody, or if it's out there in front of my husband, he gonna use more of it. Not necessarily. They're not gonna just go and grab and hoard, because they're not gonna do that. So in essence, the reason why I agree with us when we say no is because we end up wasting, not only just having so much and not creating space for more to come in, we end up wasting money, all right, that could go towards something else. I'm going somewhere with it, but I'm not going to go all the way there yet. Now, Sister Shirley, she put online, nope, you are not saving 50%, but spending money you probably did not plan to. And then Brother Isham, he put on there, I guess that depends on the person and their habits. But for me, it's a no. Just because it's on sale does not mean you need it. Doesn't mean that you need it. Anyone else? Anyone else? I know some people, it's like, dang, you had to go and say that, you know, and Christmas is right around the corner, and, you know, I'll get my Christmas bonus. Yes, yes, because you got to save for a rainy day fund and other stuff like that. All right, you got to put money aside. You just can't spend it all the time. All right, I'll even put myself out there on Front Street. You know, how many pairs of sneakers do you need? You know, all that type of stuff. How many suits do you need? You know, all those types of things. All right. I have a method to my madness for some of it, but for some of it, it's just like, I liked it, so I went on ahead and got it. You know, but there has to be a point in time when we start to look at it. Do we need it? Is it a part of the plan? All right. Now I want to go somewhere else with it, but I'm gonna wait. All right. I want to wait, because I'm gonna go to the third question, which is this. Why can, and let me listen to this one clearly. Why can one person see it one way, but someone else sees it another way? All right. Let me read it to you one more time. Why can one person see it one way, but someone else see it another way? And then the companion question to that is there anything wrong with either view? So you can see it one way, someone else can see it another way. Is there anything wrong with that? So come on off of mute and let's deal with this question. Because
Yes,
you also
it
have
is.
to think at it from the perspective of the verses that we read. All right, dealing with the 5 foolish and the 5 wise. All right, come on. I heard somebody.
In one sense, it is something wrong with it. But let's start with the positive aspect. We are not the same people. Our mindsets are not the same. So we're not gonna view things the same. The way that we was brought up is not the same. The nationality of who we are not the same. The culture and how I live is not the same. So we're not gonna view every single situation the same. Certain cultures, women deal with certain things that another culture wouldn't deal with. So you with your culture will lash out, you would mouth off, you would this or that because you don't know that culture, because you wasn't brought up in that culture, and because you can't accept that culture because that's not your culture. When me and T used to always go up to not Great Adventures. No, Great Adventures, but the water park. Hurricane Harbor. You would see the women who was all clothed up, hair covered, almost had their face covered. Their culture believes that their beauty is only for their husband. So just the way that we're looking at them and saying them people crazy, I know they hot. Why is they wrapped up like that? They looking at our woman and saying, why is y'all walking around here with y'all bras and panties on? Because that's all a bathing suit is a legal bra and panty that you can walk around outside with. So they're looking at us and we're looking at them, and they're saying the same thing about us that we're saying about them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, on the other side of why I would say that the viewpoints can be wrong. Pessimistic, optimistic. The glass is half full, the glass is half empty.
Yep.
Both of them have a half a cup of water, but one of them sees it from a negative standpoint.
Yep.
And one of them sees it from the positive standpoint. One is grateful to have a half a glass of water, and the other one is saying, how dare you only give me a half a glass of water? So in that aspect of it, yes, the two different views is at odds with each other, even though the outcome is absolutely the same.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. Someone else want to add to this and deal with it? Because the question is, why can one person see it one way, but someone else see it another way? And then the companion question is there anything wrong with either view?
Well, we've all been given different gifts. We're not all made with the same ideas, et cetera, you know, especially when you need to discuss, you know, we really need to come together and discuss what is good, what is bad, what is indifferent, what could happen, what could not happen, et cetera, et cetera. This is a coming together thing. You know, you have to discuss with one another what is right. It's not a competition. You know what I mean? God has given us insights. You know, we can't just think of something off the cuff and run with it without including your partner, your friend, your pastor, whatever it is that God is telling you to include, whoever it is God is telling you to include. We have to include each other. We have to talk it out. It should be done as a collective thing and not just you think that you're right and that's it. That's the best way I can put it. It has to be discussed amongst each other.
All right.
Amen. Amen. I just want to say, sometime in ministry, it just happened, Pastor, to me. The other person, you might not even see that person need a little mercy. Your opinion might be, I'm sick of them, and that's just it. And the other person will see that, and your opinion is not wrong. You just had enough at that point. And then the other person can say, I'm going to extend them a little more mercy. So you got to know when it's time for you to step out of the situation. Like Minister Pierce said, you got to come together and don't be so stubborn and to say, well, you know what, right now, I'm not the right one to make that decision. So I'm going to bow out of it because what's in my head and what's in my heart cannot be the right thing right now. And I might damage that person. So I'm going to bow out of it, and the other person, you handle it. And whatever you decide, I'm going to agree with you because I know that I'm not the right person to handle it. So you got to know when, and it's not that the one person is wrong or the other. You got to know what you can handle and what you can't handle. Right. And if you feel like, you know what, I just can't handle this right now.
Right.
So you have to have somebody that you can bounce it off, that they can pick up the ball and go ahead and do what's necessary for that person that needs something, and you be not bullhead to say, well, no, I'm the one up. No, it's time for you to bow out. Maybe your things had happened and that week with you or whatever had happened, and you just like, you know what, I just can't handle this right now. You take it and you go, and I'll be okay with whatever decision you make on it.
Right. All right.
Yeah, Pastor, you know, going in context, one man's meat is usually said is another man's poison. You can give two different people $1 million each, and one person will do the right thing with it, where the other person will squander it to the point of ruin. just like the virgins with the oil. They all had oil, but some of them took their oil and just was frivolous with their oil. And then when the time come for a time of need, they found themselves without. So they now have to go and buy themselves some more oil, because the wise ones that saved and maintained what they had, they were ready. And the bottom line is going to come when it's time. Will you be ready? So you could either, like Minister Talisha said, nobody likes to plan to fail. But when you fail to plan, you're going to be left without, and you're going to miss the time to go in when it's time to go in.
All right. Was there someone else? Okay. And yes, because we got to realize that we do not see everything. And that does not mean that the view that I'm seeing it from is the wrong view to see it. It's just that that's my view of the situation. I could be looking from the left to the right, and you could be looking from the right to the left. And because you're looking from the right to the left, you see it one way. But because I'm looking from the left to the right, I see it another way. My plan works from left to right. It doesn't work from right to left. But the funny thing about it is, if I work the plan that I have and you work the plan that you have, and we have the same goal, we end up meeting at the same place. But it's just that I came from the left, you came from the right. So the reason why sometimes we can't see it the way that others see it is because we're not looking through their eyes. We're not looking through their eyes. It's not as if we can pull our eyes out, sit them over on the side, pull their eyes out their head, put their eyes in our eye socket, and look around and say, okay, I see what they see. No, this is why I explain to us, and I encourage us to sometimes look through, all right, someone else's, all right, perspective, or look from somebody else's perspective, all right, see what they see, all right, take the time out to say, you know what, as Mother Shula said, you know what, show them a little more mercy, show them a little more grace, all right, show them a little more patience. Why? Because somebody showed us patience, somebody worked with us, all right, somebody saw us where we were at when we were a hot, funky dumpster fire of a mess of a person. They had grace and they had mercy on us. The same exact thing. Extend them a little grace, extend them a little mercy, all right? But the thing that you got to realize is you can't support everyone, all right? Let me put that out there. That's the point that we're getting to on tonight, all right? And it's plain and simple. I can't support all of us. That's what the five wise were saying. They were saying, I can't support all of us, all right? I can't have for myself and for you too. It doesn't work that way. I can't do it. There's no way that I can have enough for me, myself, and for you too, especially when we both knew what was going on, but I made a plan as to do what needed to be done so that I will have enough, but you did not do. Because one of the things that we got to look at is sometimes when we support people too much and we help them too much, we become enablers. We become enablers. And in being an enabler, it actually stunts that person's growth. It stunts their growth, and they will not do for themselves because they always expect you to do. All right? So many times they'll ask you, oh, can you go get me a drink of water? Oh, can you stop at the store? Oh, can you do this? Oh, can you do that? Oh, can you buy me this? Oh, can you? And every time we turn around, we're like, oh, sure, why not? Oh, sure, why not? Oh, sure, why not? Oh, sure, why not? And then the one time when we say, no, I'm not doing it, they catch an attitude. They catch an attitude, or they'll be like, okay, well, fine, forget it then. I'm not going to do it. Because we have enabled them. We have enabled them. And so sometimes enabling them, all right, they become dependent on us. And it's not a good thing, because then they will not know how to do for themselves. Because even, let me put it plainly, you look at it with young men, all right, because too many times as mothers, all right, or as parents, we try to give them or provide for them every single thing that they ask for, all right, and we don't make them work for anything. Well, in doing that, it actually stunts their growth, all right, as a young man, all right, because they'll just sit back and play video games. And they'll be like, oh, yeah, I know my mom gonna get it for me. Oh, yeah, I know this is gonna happen. Oh, yes, I know that's gonna happen. So I ain't got to do anything. Now, fast forward, when they become even a young man or a grown adult, that same mentality ends up happening. So then when they get married, they end up finding, all right, a wife that's going to sit up there and do every little thing that they need done. All right, they don't have to make their own plate. They don't have to clean up after themselves. They don't have to pick up their dirty underwear. They don't have to, they don't have to cut the grass. They don't have to paint. They don't have to do nothing. And to make it bad, some of them pimping so well, they don't even have to go to work. They can just sit back at home and be a fat cat and play video games all day long and be on, do all that. And it's all because of being enabled when you were younger. And it translates into when you get older. And it becomes worse when you're older, because you expect everyone else to do something for you. And that's not the case. Everybody is not supposed to do something for you. There has to come a point in time when you do for yourself. You can't just sit up there and expect everything to come to you. No, it doesn't work that way. Sometimes we actually have to make a plan, and we have to work the plan that is in front of us. All right. And besides that, let me put another piece in there. We cannot sit up there, and as I stated this morning, we cannot sit up there and take and put our plan on the back burner, all right, to help somebody else's plan, especially when God did not direct us to help with their plan, with their dream, with their vision, all right? Because what ends up happening with that is we end up causing ourselves to be short, all right? We end up causing ourselves to miss out on the opportunity, all right? We cause ourselves to lose out on different situations. Why? Because we turned around and put our plan on the back burner, all right, gave some money that God did not tell us to give, all right, we went out and bought something that was on sale that we should not have bought, all right, and then what ends up happening, it causes us to be short, all right? Then to make matters worse, because we enabled that person, they don't even have the wherewithal to turn around and repay us. So now we done lost out because we done helped them. So we hurt ourselves and we held up our plan. And then we turn around and say, well, you know what? Since that doesn't happen, I might as well just go ahead and blow the whole thing. I might as well just go ahead and blow the whole thing. Like Minister Guy said, you have, two people that you give $1 million to. One's going to be wise with it. The other one's going to be stupid with it. All right. Most of the time, and history has shown, and even statistics have shown, those who win the lottery, all right, a lot of times those that win the lottery turn out to be broke because their mentality has not changed. All right, their mentality has not changed. They still thinking and acting like somebody who does not have, all right, any money. That's why I would encourage each and every one of us. It's like, sit down, write out your vision. All right, pray, ask God if he's leading you, all right, and guiding you about a business, about a venture. Make sure you have it written down. Make sure you know every little piece, every little part of it, because you never know who you will run into, all right, and who, all right, would be a blessing. Somebody, there are people that's out there that's looking to invest, all right? I've told y'all before, there are plenty of companies that want to underwrite, all right, a conference or a convocation or something like that. They just want to have, all right, financial representation without physical representation. They just want to have their name, all right, on the bottom saying this part was financed by such and such, all right, or this was purchased by this person. Why? Because they want to have it there, all right, or they want to be there in name, but not in physical. They want to still be able to go out on the golf course, all right, that Saturday when we having the event, when we having a conference. They still want to do that, but they want to give, you know, $500,000, you know, or $500,000, or $8,000 to help underwrite. They want to do that, and it's all well and good. All they want us to do is put their name on it. But the point that I'm getting to is, if we don't know and we don't have a plan and we don't have a price with that, when they come to ask us, we're going to be sitting up there fumbling, you know, through papers and going through our phone to get the notes and stuff like that. When in actuality, we should know right off the bat, oh, you know what? I need $8,000. That's exactly the amount of money that I need to do what needs to be done in order for this production to go forth and it to be without any hindrance, without any problems. I need $8,000. Why? Because I need this for that. I need that for that. I need that for that. I need that, because it's a plan. It's a plan. I have it all planned out. And anything that does not fit into that plan is not going to be a part of the plan. All right? Because let me tell you something. Every add-on is not necessarily an add-on that we are supposed to do. All right? Just because it seems like a good idea, let me put this in there. Just because it seems like a good idea, but is it God's idea? All right? Is it directed by God? Because too many times, like I stated, too many times we get held up because we think that it's a part of the plan, when in actuality it's not. It's not a part of the plan. And we got to be wise about what we are doing. We got to be wise about it. That's why I'll even put us out there on Front Street. We went through this whole building that I'm in right now. Went through this whole building. And when I did the State of the Tabernacle address, showed everybody every single inch, took pictures, slideshow, all that stuff of areas in this church that need to be renovated, upgraded, all of that stuff. We had a working list of what we needed to do and how we needed to do it and what was the priority. And as we began to knock stuff off that list and we started moving really quickly, God started adding stuff to the list, because he knew and he saw how diligent we were and how systematic we were with what we needed to do. And so in doing that, God was like, okay, y'all are serious about this. All right, so here, let me add this one there. All right, y'all, okay, let me add this one there. Oh, y'all keep doing, okay, let me add this one there. Okay, then what about this when y'all come up against this? We'll put our heads together and we'll say, all right, let's go ahead and knock that out. Because I can tell you right now, paying off the mortgage, that was nowhere near in the plans at all. That was just something that God just gave all of a sudden. Gave all of a sudden, and everybody just grabbed it and ran with it. And that's what happens when we take the time out and everybody snatches on and everybody latches on to the vision. And we don't let anything come in and cause division. And we don't allow, all right, the foolish to come in and snatch from us, all right, to help them out. It's like, I'm sorry. It don't fit in the plan. It's not part of the plan. So since it's not part of the plan, I can't support you and support myself at the same time. That's not going to happen. I'm sorry. I love you with an everlasting love, but I'm not going to sit up there and cause my vision that God has given me to not come to pass because I'm helping you with your vision. Because that would make me unwise. That would make me foolish. All right? That would make me sit up there and say, why in the world did this? Well, it did not happen because we were foolish. It did not come to pass because we did not listen. We did not pay attention. We did not come together, and we did not work the plan that was in place. And we did not work our own personal plan and say, I can't. It's like we stated this morning, and I'm done. Because for too many of us, we sat up there and put our plan on the back burner, on the stove. And we didn't even turn the pilot light on, or we didn't even turn it on a little bit to heat our plan up. We just left our plan sitting there. And because it just sat there, it ended up getting molded. All right, it's mold and bacteria and all that other stuff started growing in it. And then next thing you know, the plan ended up going to waste because we didn't work the plan. We didn't turn the fire up on it, but we turned the fire up on everybody else's that was around us. Yeah, we turned all this. We was helping them out. We was doing what needed. No, there comes a point in time where we got to work our plan. The plan that God has given us, the plan that God has given you. You got to work the plan. You got to know the plan inside and out. And let me put another piece in there. Even if you deviate from that plan, because God will, all right, give us an extra add-on, all right, that he wants us to accomplish. But you know what? Once we finish that, go right back in and go right back to the plan. Go right back to the plan. Go right back and start working that spot all over again and just start knocking off pieces. Start looking at how to get it done. So we got to make a plan, and we got to look at it and say, what are we doing? What are you doing? And you got to work it. You got to work it. You got to work it. Does anyone else have anything that they want to say or anything that they want to add, a point that they thought of? All right. I'll take the silence as a no. I'm done for the night. We're going to finish up next week. All right. So with that much, my name is Pastor Lamont Brown. I'm a pastor of Faith Baptist Tabernacle here in Asbury Park, New Jersey, where we are evangelizing to the family while building disciples. I just want to remind you of this one thing. It's already done. You just got to catch up to it.